What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Chig coming at you with another Diablo 3 build guide. Today we are going to be talking about the Legacy of Dreams Wave of Light Monk. Not real sure why I've been on a monk kick, but we're going to hop right into it. Before we get started though, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to help out the channel for free. Alright, so let's hop right into it. This is the quote-unquote best monk build for speed farming, for farming keys, for everything. It is also just the hardest to put together. So the build we're going over today is going to be the Greater Rift speed farming variant for 100 speeds, just, you know, primal farming, mat farming, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get started. As normal, I will start with the gear. We will go ahead and talk about Lefebvre's Soliloquy. So in this build, the biggest stat for you is going to be cooldown reduction, because you need to have Epiphany up at all times because it makes your Rabid Strike do more damage. We'll go over that in a minute because your damage comes from your Crudest Boots and your allies. So Soliloquy, Cyclone Strike reduces the damage you take by 46% for 5 seconds. It's a range, 40 to 50. Mine's not the best, but anyway, you want to have all of the cooldown everywhere. The helmet is going to be Soren's Gaze. This is going to make Wave of Light cast at your enemy. Easy, just spam your Waves of Light. And Squirt's Necklace, we're using this on basically every build this season because it is amazing. This is going to be my crafted primal in this set. Fire skills, crits, what you want on that. So we're using St. Archu's Gaze in the speed version, and the reason being you get the elite pack damage shield. It's going to help keep up your Squirt's Necklace and stuff. It's going to be great. You want crit cooldown. Obviously, if you can get a roll that you can roll off the decks, it's going to be better, but crit cooldown is going to be the first order of business. Cinder Coat, because you want the RCR for spamming your bells, and you want the increased damage on fire skills. Pinto's Pride, same thing. Wave of Light also slows enemies by 80% and deals increased damage. We're using the Bane of the Trapped in this build, so slowing and dealing more damage is great. Witching Hour, attack speed, crit hit damage, no brainer. Convention of the Elements, obviously this is going to make you do more damage when it rolls around to fire. Other than that, you know, it's just a good ring. Everybody uses that. Blackthorn's Jousting Mail. Mine are a little funky because they dropped on my barb, so, you know, ignore the bash damage. But this is how we get more fire skill damage. And that's the reason we use these, is because they can roll elemental damage. The Unity, I rolled life per hit on this just to get a little more sustain. You want life per hit on one item on this. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a ring, it could be a weapon, whatever. You do want life per hit on one item because you do need a way to heal. That does pretty good. Unity, obviously, just to keep us alive because we're using our follower who cannot die. Kirishiro's Blade increases the damage of Wave of Light by 150%. The initial impact hits 3 or fewer enemies. The damage is increased by 205%. This is what we drop in the T16 version, which I will make a build guide for at some point in the not so distant future. Crudest Boots, Mystic Ally summons 2 Mystic Allies that fight by your side. They deal increased damage and are able to attack their active forms longer. So this directly plays onto this. Spirit Spinders that teleport you while Epiphany is active, also mimicked on a nearby target for free. So the Mimic is actually counted as a Mystic Ally. So your extra damage here comes here too. So you got 2 multipliers on that. So the gems, we're using cooldown in the hat, and we're using diamonds for all resist because, you know, staying alive is good. We're using Enforcer because, like I said, your damage comes from your clones. It does not come from yours. I mean, you are doing some damage, but your clones are what are deleting the screens. Bane of the Trapped, increased damage. This is my only actual good gem because I use it on my wizard, so it's almost 150. Thank gosh. I need to finish leveling it up. My Enforcer's only rank 112, you know, super easy to get this season. Legacy of Dream max out at 99, super easy to get. Alright, so, and then you're using, I forgot what those were called for a second. Emeralds for crit hit damage. And then in the cube, we're using Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac. Since cooldown is your biggest thing here, because we need to keep Epiphany up at all times, because that is how we are having the most damage, you need Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac in the cube. You need it. It is the most important thing that is going to help you out. So Bindings of the Lesser Gods, as your damage goes up, you are able to switch this out for something else because on speed hundreds, you're going to be deleting things. And I will show you, I'm going to take my Paragons out of my decks and I'm just going to have my gear on my decks. What that does is when you Cyclone Strike, enemies pull in, they take extra damage from your Mystic allies, which again, your Rabid Strike clone counts as a Mystic ally. And then Incense Torch of the Grand Temple reduces the spirit cost of Wave of Light by 50% and increases its damage by 550%. That is required in the cube for the Speed Greater Rift version because the multiplier is just way too good. So let's go ahead and remove that. I don't have a lot of HP on this build. I'm going to put 200 Vitality in there just for giggles. I have 588,000 HP. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's start 100, and I'm going to show you how ridiculous this is. So you Lefebvre's, you pop your Epiphany, and then you just hold down that button, and then when you really just run around, that's it. And you just hit everything. Like, the whole purpose of this build is to delete the screen, right? Like, we're not elite hunting. Obviously, you're going to kill the elites, but you're not just looking for anything specifically. We're just going to kill everything, right? And the reason being, you always need to be casting. The ABCs of playing games, always be casting. And the reason being, you need to try to keep up your Obsidian Ring so you can have everything you need for that, right? So you need to be able to be casting enough and hitting enough enemies that you are going to be getting your Obsidian Ring. See, my Epiphany fell off because I wasn't able to hit enough things, right? One thing to keep in note of, though, however, is that Cyclone Strike does get you more time off of your Epiphany than does using your bells. I'm not entirely sure why that is the case, but it does give you more cooldown, maybe because it hits more enemies or the way it hits enemies or whatever. So here is the only issue I have with this build. When your clone is not in the right spot, its waves can be blocked from what you were trying to hit, and until you get your Epiphany back up, it is a little more difficult to get your kills on everything, right? So other than that, I have zero qualms with this build. It is super, but see, he's standing over there spamming, right? So yeah, 2 minutes flat, not the best rift. We blaze through it. I'm not the best player at this. Just easy money, easy build. The only problem with this build is putting it together, but it just takes a little time. I'm not ogged. I didn't have anything in my decks. I have less than 10k decks because I have a lot of rolls that don't even have decks on them, right? So put this together if you want to speed run on your monk. It's amazing. And if you stuck around, thanks. Appreciate the support. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, everything you can do to help support the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.